When I was a kid, I had 3 points of data, and I was completely positive, based on these 3 points of data, that I had figured something out in life. Now, both of my grandpas were named George. My mother's father, my father's father, both named George. And so in my very young mind, I believed that when you got to a certain age, you got the title of George. It wasn't a name like, my name's Mark and I was given this name. That's your child name. I believe that when you hit this elder age, it was a title that was given to you. Now, this was confirmed because I loved collecting baseball cards when I was 7 and 8 years old. And I did it for quite a few years after that, but I loved collecting baseball cards. And so I found this baseball card of this Boston Red Sox player named George Scott. Now, George had a gray beard. He was older, like he had gray in his beard, and he was an older baseball player. Now, when I saw that baseball card, that confirmed my theory. No, I didn't realize that I was basing this on 3 points of data or that it was a theory. I had a very primitive young mind. Many people say I still have a very primitive mind, but that's a different story. But I believe based on this now, wow, this was like, wow, proof. My grandpas were named George. The oldest baseball player that I saw on all my cards was named George, and he had a gray beard and was the oldest baseball player. So I was convinced that once you hit a certain age, you got a title, the title of George. Now, obviously, I was an idiot. Many things have not changed on that front. And I was completely wrong, 100% wrong. Completely had something fabricated in my head. Now, what's amazing in applying this to trading is that I see trader after trader, even teachers, the people that try to teach other people, teach effectively the same nonsensical garbage that was in my head when I was 7 years old. They'll look at a chart and they'll, based on a couple points of data, draw a conclusion. On a couple points of data, come up with some system to trade. Well, on earnings, it's done this the last few times, and so I'm going to base a trade based on 1 or 2 or 3 points of data. When we collect data, when we gather information, we have to realize that, and we don't have to go into statistical theory or probability, but we have to have at least the common sense to realize that we're basing our conclusion, if you will, or our opinion or our analysis on very limited information. Now, once again, you don't have to be a statistician and understand what's significantly relevant, statistically relevant, but you need to have some common sense. And this can apply in numerous different areas, in long-term investing, in forex trading, in stock trading. That when we're trying to understand price movement and we're trying to develop systems or base trades on theories or concepts, and we're only looking at a little bit of information, realize that you could be making financial decisions on the equivalent of, well, I have 3 Georges in my life, 1 on a baseball card, 2 grandfathers, and so that must be the way it is. If you approach trading through a systematic method, make sure you have enough information that is based on a sound conclusion. When you're analyzing a country's economic situation and you say, well, I looked at this one report, well, we need to look at the totality of the information we can, whether we're drawing it from a fundamental point of view or a technical point of view. Don't make the mistake I did when I was a kid, thinking that there were 3 Georges and that I had discovered something in life. don't lose money because you're not willing to dig a little deeper. It would be nice if it is easy, but sometimes we've got to put in a little work, and it really is easy at the end of the day. Just don't make that mistake in gathering information. Just because you see one point, that's just one point, one piece of the larger puzzle. So, not all individuals that get to a certain age are named George. Not all of your trades or your investments based on a few data will be based on good information. Dig deeper. Love my grandpas. Miss them both.